Okay, yeah, so now it will allow a certain angle. Yeah, what's the maximum drift angle on?
Yeah, you can talk about drift angle. The purpose was with four-wheel drive without sport to accelerate the car out from the corner, and you just need to counter steer a little bit on the steering wheel, but it don't need to lift off. So the purpose was to make a car driving like a real four-wheel drive, full acceleration out and minimum correction at steering wheel. And four-wheel drive sport, the difference is you need to correct at the steering wheel and also on throttle, so half the way to a two-wheel drive car. So more driver effort, but also more feeling like a two-wheel driven car.
But always oversteer and never understeer.
Always oversteering. All modes are always oversteering. So the tendency is always oversteering, but in a difference.
And the amount of oversteer is the angle, or is that more than on the regular M5? It's more oversteer.
Of course, yeah. No, for sport, it's of course more.
But compared to the M5 model, the regular M5 compared to M5 Competition, is it even more? Is four-wheel sport even more aggressive?
No. We did just react on the changes in damper settings, spring settings. So
tuned it to that. Okay, yeah. Matched it.
The car isn't more aggressive, but the rear axle reacts a little bit more. It's a little bit more neutral, the car, and that was the reason we reacted to our settings to provide almost the same behavior than as a standard M5, but with different chassis settings. Stiffer stabilizer bar on the rear. It's about 10% stiffer springs.
Because the amount of grip it has in four-wheel drive was driving even with DSC off. It was driving with DSC on because, but it was almost too much grip and too much power.
In four-wheel drive, you felt too much grip.
Well, not too much, but always grip, grip.
Yeah.
Never
That's
DSC.
The purpose. That's the purpose. And that's the reason also why we allowed to drive the journalists without DSC.
Yeah, I was surprised. But still, you know, if you just come out with two wheel pairs on the grass or something, or in the gravel, you will have a big problem. Or I will have a big problem with the DSC off. So you respect the speed and the car.
We trust our car, we trust our car and the easy to handle behavior of the car.
And is there any track in the world where you are faster with four-wheel drive sport than four-wheel drive?
Of course, it's all that. Let's call it these kind of Mickey Mouse tracks, which are very narrow, which
Hockenheim, Kleiner.
Yeah, for example.
So there, for sure, you would set a better time with both DSC off, but four-wheel drive sport. Because is that because you need to come into the corner or out of the corner with a drift angle?
To change the direction of the car faster, because it's more narrow corners. That means you need to change more. You need more direction change, and the four-wheel drive sport makes it easier for a professional driver to change the direction.
Is it possible to demonstrate that in some tight corner here on Ascari?
Of course, we can try. We can try. So now in four-wheel drive sport, we'll try to show you. Do one more lap.
And of course, this C completely off.
C is off, of course.
Now it feels like an old M5.
It's more or less a drift, but it's more damped. That's the difference to the two-wheel drive mode.
Yeah.
You can drift, but the reactions of the car aren't as fast as a two-wheel drive car. That's the main difference.
And
we switch to two-wheel drive. I'll show you the difference. It's the rear end is much faster. The reaction of the rear end is much more faster because the front axle doesn't help at all. For example, here.
But it still felt very controllable.
That was the purpose.
Yeah, because
That was the purpose.
and because sometimes with the active M differential,
Yeah.
I think in the F10 M5 you could be a bit somewhat surprised, but it always
Yeah.
saved the situation. But,
Yeah.
but it's the same active M differential here, same.
Same technique.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also in two-wheel drive. It's more controllable, I would say, than the predecessors and the
Yes.
F10. And also in terms of lap times, the new M5 in two-wheel drive mode is on all racetracks much faster than the F10 two-wheel drive.
Despite,
So it's more drivable.
but you would say you will never set better time with two-wheel drive on any
never.
racetrack. No.
Compared to the four-wheel drive modes, no, never.
And have you, for example, tried the Nordschleife in two-wheel drive?
Of course, yeah, we have. Of course
Is it?
we have.
What's the time difference in? Is it like
Time difference between?
for example, four-wheel drive sport and four-wheel drive compared to two-wheel drive on Nordschleife? Is it 10 seconds?
On Nordschleife, the fastest mode is four-wheel drive. It's a special thing because normally we have developed the four-wheel drive for slippery situations, for rainy racetracks, wet racetracks, and the four-wheel drive sport for dry racetracks. But Nordschleife is a very special racetrack.
Yes.
It's very fast. You need to trust the car. You have lots of corners with 200 and more kph.
Yes.
And therefore, you need a more stable car. And that's the reason why, especially on the Nordschleife, the four-wheel drive mode is the faster one.
Always more
Yes.
stable, yes.
And compared to, let's say, four-wheel drive on the Nordschleife, the two-wheel drive, it's about around 8 to 9 seconds slower,
Yes.
but a few seconds faster than, as I said, the
F10.
previous
Yeah.
M5. Yeah.
What are, if you like sort the difference between M590 and M5 Competition package,
Yeah.
what are the most important changes if you number them? The first most important changes. Is it the suspension or like any? Can you number any individual part that you think is the most important?
More or less, it's
Or it's a package. It's impossible to take it out.
A package of all the suspension changes, which allows us to make it in a lot of situations more comfortable, but also more sporty. So that's always the problem. You want to have a maximum sporty car, but you don't want to lose comfort, and you normally have to decide to take more comfort or more sport. But in this car, we had the advantage to improve the comfort and the sportiness.
But you could, I mean, still the M5 Competition is not as comfortable as a regular M5, right? It's not exactly as comfortable. It's a little bit.
It depends.
Yeah.
When we're talking about curbs, for example, the M5 Competition to driving over the curbs is better than the M5.
Yes.
for
Oh,
example.
really? More
Yeah.
stable. Okay.
Stays more stable. Yes.
And if we
And also at the high speeds, 200 and more kph at the autobahn, I would say it's easier to drive because it's more comfortable. Yeah. I would
really?
say, yeah.
At higher speeds. And what parts of Nordschleife is the biggest difference between M5 Competition and M5? Would you say where is it most noticeable?
Wow, difficult to say. It's
Everywhere.
little here, little there. I can't say.
Big
now.
sum. And on what parts on Nordschleife would you think? Do you appreciate the four-wheel drive the most compared to two-wheel drive? Is it the high-speed corners? You say like?
It's at the high-speed corners because the car stays more stable on the rear axle.
Yes.
And if the car tends to be unstable, it's slower. So you have, as a driver, you have more time to react.
And that makes it a faster time. The car is slower, but
that's
you have
also
more
the
time.
traction, of course. Also the traction
exactly,
from slower
exactly.
corners. I think we have to stop, and he's waiting.
Oh yes. Okay, thank you very much, Jörg, for the interview.
Thank you.
And a nice drift, by the way.
Thank you.
I would want to do that, but it's not my car. We have here is the M5 Competition. Best of the best. M5 derivative in a gorgeous M5 Competition specific color. Ceramic brakes. Competition. Black lower panels. Super strict and perfect. Wow, the M5 looks really good from this. Maybe I would change to not have the black kidneys, but otherwise it's just perfect. Gorgeous. Let's go and prepare us for the track. Some gorgeous colors of the competition versions of M3 and M4. This is going to be 2 fun days. So I'm here at Ascari with the new BMW M5 Competition, which is, it is top of the line M5, but this is only if you want a more track enabled M5. So this will definitely be better on a track than the regular M5. Somewhat firmer ride, but if you want to track your M5, this is the M5 to get. You see some dark panels here. The wheels are significantly lighter, and you also have the dark panel here, dark diffuser, M5 Competition logo, of course. You have the dark rear view mirrors, dark side gills, dark or black kidneys actually, and this special color. You see M5 Competition. That was beautiful. And these panels are similar as well. Colors on the seatbelts. Bowers and Wilkins. And this have the dark interior theme. Let's have a look at the engine, see if it has the carbon detail. Well, it has some carbon details. These here, these. It's really hot. And it's a complete different launch. It's a smooth launch from first gear, even when launch control enabled, I would say. Frozen dark silver. Filler titan silver. Oh, this is nice. I kind of didn't notice this M5 logo here. And this, if I'm not mistaken, the first M5 to have active cruise control. Okay, we need to, like that. Okay, I like these wheels. $275/35 in front, and I believe $285 in the rear. It's black little lip. Servo opening, of course. Foldable rear seat. The luggage kit. We have, first aid. I want to open this. Anyway, it's going to be really fun driving this on the track tomorrow. A glass of Coke. Everything in charging, and beautiful dinner at Ascari Race Resort. Here we have some great salad and healthy things. Looks great. Ascari Race Resort with M branding is the best you can have. Coca-Cola and no beer for me. Gorgeous. I wouldn't mind a swim. Swim and racetrack. Can't be a better combination. 625 horsepower. M5 Competition engine. Okay. We have the M5 Competition outside. So we're on beautiful Ascari Race Resort. And it's been a beautiful weekend. Pair of days. We have enjoyed the M2 competition and the M5 competition on this beautiful event, and I've been experiencing the M5 Competition's four-wheel drive sport mode, in M dynamic mode, and even experience DSC completely off, which surprisingly felt like having DSC on, because the front wheel drive helped so much with the grip, so it felt like driving with stability control completely on. And the M5 Competition with the competition wheels and ceramic brakes, it's in excess of 30 kilos weight savings, and that is unsprung weight, so it's significant. So having a faster M5, not only with 625 horsepower, but unsprung weight, less than like 30 kilos minus of unsprung weight, is really significant. And the four-wheel drive, I mean, it's a new car, it's a new kind of 911 turbo safe car, but you can get it, you can get the M5 feeling back with switching on to four-wheel drive sport. And this is actually Donington Grey, the individual color I had for X5M on my channel a few years ago. It's a matte Donington Grey actually, which is a bit interesting. I would choose caramel interior. Leg space is maybe not the best in the M5 because you have the multi-functional seats, but I mean, buying an M5 Competition, then you have a pretty well-spec'd M5. I'm not sure if you really need a lot more than an M5 Competition. I mean, yeah, maybe ceramic brakes, but it's not a must. See here, this has the optional carbon fiber. It looks gorgeous, no sun on it however. And you see this beautiful, gorgeous M5 logo. And you can see frozen dark silver, fyller i titaniumsilver. But that is actually matte Donington Grey, which I didn't know. And we can have a look at the other M5 Competition while we're at it. But finally, some really nice looking wheels. These are the ones to have 20-inch. You could have 19-inch standard, but 20-inch is one I prefer. I mean, for the regular M5 you could have 19-inch. And BMW say the ceramic brakes, it's not like 300,000 kilometers, it's lifetime brake discs. So That's very nice. Yeah, here we also have carbon. Did I close it? No, yeah, no. No, I closed it. So we have this competition specific black parts. But the biggest difference is, I mean, it's tuned for the track and actually more comfort at higher speeds on Autobahn. And at certain times it's more comfortable than the regular M5, depending on what you do. If you do fast Autobahn driving, for example. So if you really are a sporty driver, you should really go for the M5 Competition. But if you are on the fence of your sportiness, then you probably should go with a regular M5. And I like this color. It's a Hockenheim white. It's like a pearl white moonstone. Similar to moonstone color, but it doesn't change as much in color as moonstone does. And these wheels, and you have the 400mm optional brake discs. It's just a gorgeous little car. I mean, it's losing grip at 130, so yeah, I mean, you have to respect it. M3 engine, finally. And this apparently is new. Much more stiffer. Where can we... And oh, this is funny. It's no insulation. That's nice. It's really nice. Where do I see the name of the color? Can't find it. And this front air inlets are new. I assume. And also the instruments are new. The whole digital all digital instruments. Really nice. M2 Competition. Okay, windows open. Adjust the steering wheel. Windows open, startup, M5 Competition. So let's put in sport mode and open flaps. It's real big bangs. I mean, no artificial sound here. What a response. Sounds lovely.